Let's set up our first Next.js project. So the first thing we'll want to do is actually create some kind of folder for it. I'm going to create a folder that's just something simple, my next project. That could be a pun, but we'll get to that later. Okay, now go into your project and do an npm init to start a project in here. We'll call it my next project. We'll say my first Next.js project. Entry point is index.js. Sure. Just hit enter across all of these. Okay, we have started a project that's just a basic npm project. Now we're going to install Next, React, and React DOM. So we'll do npm install Next, React, and React-DOM, like that. Okay, now that everything is installed, now we need to update our package.json to include the right scripts. I'm going to open this up in my editor. You can open it up in any editor that you'd like. And inside package.json, I'm going to add some scripts. So right now there's this test script. We'll take that out and we'll add dev, which will be next dev. We'll do build, which is next build. Start for next start. And export for next export. Now that we've set up our package.json, we need to create a pages directory. So make a new folder and call it pages. And then inside of there, we're going to make a new file and call it index.js. Now, Next.js is built around the concept of pages. Pages are just React components, but they have a few extra functions which we will talk about a little bit later. But because they are just React components, we can make a function and we'll call it home. And we can take in props if you want to because it's React, but we won't at first. And we'll say return a quick div, welcome explorer, and then we will export default home, just like this. Now I want to touch on a couple things here. First of all, because we're using Next.js, we don't actually have to import React every single time at the top of our pages or functions or components. It's automatically built in, so you just can remove that one line of code. And now, because we have actually made this component inside of the pages directory, this is a route. This is an actual page. Just these simple steps that we've done so far has given us automatic compilation and bundling with Webpack and Babel, and because it's using the latest React, we get React Fast Refresh, meaning if we were to do any sort of state changes and stuff, it's kind of the latest and greatest version of hot module reloading. So let's actually run this in the browser. Let's head back to our terminal and do npm run dev. Now, if you'll recall, that runs next dev, which is a Next.js command. Now let's open this up in a browser. And look at that, we have a little welcome explorer just right there, which is exactly what we put in that simple div when we loaded our home component. Now, you can add a lot more in here. This is just the bare bones. You can add your own components directory. You can add more routes. You can add all kinds of stuff. If you don't want to do all of this from the ground up, you can actually go to this starter repo that I built. It's github.com/cassidy/next-netlify starter. And with this starter project, it does pretty much exactly what we did. If you go to the package.json, you can see we have the exact same scripts that we just put in and the exact same dependencies, Next, React, and React DOM. And then if you go into the pages directory, you can see that we have an index.js that has a little bit more markup, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. Now, all this being said, with our bare bones project that we just made together, let's set it up for deployment. We'll do that in the next video.